No productivity tool has ever made anyone productive. That sounds obvious. But almost nobody actually behaves as if it were true. Every year, millions of people download new tools, migrate their systems, rebuild their workflows, hoping that this one will finally fix how they work. And most of the time, it doesn't. Not because the tools are bad, but because they are being asked to do something they were never designed to do. Productivity tools feel promising because they offer relief. When work feels messy, unclear, or overwhelming, a new tool feels like control. A clean interface. Empty lists. A fresh start. For a brief moment, it feels like progress. But notice what actually changed. Your goals didn't become clearer. Your priorities didn't resolve their conflicts. Your constraints didn't disappear. Only the surface changed. The feeling of motion replaced the work of thinking. And that feeling is powerful enough to keep people cycling through tools for years. Most productivity tools are optimized for one thing: the feeling of productivity. They make it easy to check things off, to move items forward, to stay busy, to stay responsive. None of those guarantee progress. In fact, they often delay it. Because as long as you're busy, you don't have to decide what actually matters. And deciding what matters is uncomfortable. So tools that keep you busy feel helpful, even when they're quietly helping you avoid the real problem. There are things no productivity tool can do for you. A tool cannot decide your goals. It can track tasks, but it cannot tell you which ones are worth doing. A tool cannot resolve conflicting priorities. When everything feels urgent, no interface can tell you what to sacrifice. And a tool cannot think slowly on your behalf. Most meaningful decisions require time, context, and reflection. No app can compress that. Tools don't remove these responsibilities. They only expose whether you've handled them. That's why productivity tools often feel disappointing after the honeymoon phase. They didn't fail. They just stopped masking the absence of clarity. This is where most people get confused. They assume the problem is the tool. So they switch. And switching feels productive. Because as long as you're setting up a system, you're not yet responsible for outcomes. You're preparing, planning, optimizing. Preparation without decisions feels safe. But preparation without decisions is just avoidance with better aesthetics. This is why people rebuild systems endlessly. Not because they enjoy organization, but because organization feels safer than commitment. Tools don't cause this behavior. They just make it easier to stay inside it. There is a distinction most people never make, and it explains a lot of frustration. There are two fundamentally different kinds of work: execution-heavy work and decision-heavy work. Execution-heavy work values speed, low friction, clear next steps. Decision-heavy work values context, memory, relationships between ideas. Most productivity tools are built for execution-heavy work. They assume the decisions are already made. But many people try to use them for decision-heavy work, where the real problem isn't execution. It's understanding. When you use execution tools for thinking work, everything feels heavy. Not because the tool is bad, but because it's solving the wrong problem. You click more. You organize more. You restructure more. And none of it brings relief. Because clarity doesn't come from structure. It comes from decisions. This is also why some people swear by a tool while others abandon it. Two people can use the same app and have completely opposite experiences. The difference isn't discipline. It isn't intelligence. It isn't motivation. It's clarity. When clarity exists, simple tools work surprisingly well. When clarity doesn't exist, even powerful tools feel overwhelming. This is where productivity advice often becomes misleading. It focuses on tools, techniques, and optimizations, instead of asking a more uncomfortable question. What kind of work are you actually doing? Are you executing something already understood? Or are you trying to understand something that isn't yet clear? Those are different problems. And no tool can solve both at the same time. Real productivity doesn't come from better tools. It comes from clear constraints, explicit trade-offs, decisions you're willing to live with. Tools can support these things. They cannot substitute for them. When a tool feels like it's failing you, it's worth asking a harder question. Is the tool actually broken? Or is it revealing something you haven't decided yet? Most productivity tools don't make you productive. They reveal whether you already are, or whether you're still avoiding the hard parts. Once you see that, the endless search for the perfect tool stops making sense. The work becomes quieter, slower, more honest. And that's where real progress usually begins.